alone, I'm alright. It's okay.
You know, there's a lot to love about Colorado ski resorts. And then there's Breckenridge, but we'll save that for last. Right now, let's go through what's not to love about all of Colorado's 32 ski areas. This is the Hater's Guide to Colorado Ski Resorts. To start off, we get Arapahoe Basin. There's a nice high-speed quad out of your base that just so happens to be the shortest main mountain lift. So while it's nice and easy to get out of the base, we end up stuck sitting on a slow fixed grip for over 10 minutes, wasting our time while we could be lapping some of the best terrain around. You have 5 different ratings for your trails, so why is it that my beginner mother can ski down anything under Lenawee, but has to slide down Davis and Loafer on her butt? On a blue trail at A Basin, expect to find anything from a nice wide groomer to a freaking cliff. Seriously, I swear to you that the blacks in the Zuma Bowl are easier than the blues in the Beavers. Aspen Highlands. There are some really nice beginner and intermediate runs just below Cloud 9. The only problem? There's no freaking way to lap it. Instead, I have to drag my butt all the way along a crowded catwalk back to the base area just to wait in another flippin' line. By the time it's all said and done, it takes me 25 goddamn minutes to get back up and have another nice 3-minute long run. You literally have a chairlift coming from the Aspen Middle and High Schools. Give me a show of hands, who thinks it's a good idea to have an easy access for a bunch of middle and high school students to flood the mountain in the afternoon? Nobody? Really? That's what I thought. Aspen Mountain. It's a great mountain, except that the only 2 ways to get up it are to sit on a slow chairlift that's long as heck, or wait in line with everyone else for an ancient, and I mean ancient, gondola. Once up top, you'll have a nice choice of 2 runs to split with the rest of the population of Pitkin County. Or you can go waste another 15 minutes of your life on the Gentleman's Ridge chairlift. Oh, and yeah, enjoy skiing down the narrowest run in the state with 500 of your best friends at the end of the day. Beaver Creek. You know, it's really a quite nice mountain. Too bad the 2 lifts coming out of the main base area aren't even next to each other. If I want to go from Centennial to Strawberry, or vice versa, I have to bust my butt battling through everyone else to hike across a freaking bridge. Arrowhead has some real nice terrain. Too bad you still haven't upgraded the Stone Age high-speed quad that serves it. I mean, come on, even if you don't replace it, you could at least add some chairs and increase capacity. Buttermilk. You're the beginner mountain of the Aspens. So explain to me why it is that the very bottom, near the base area, the beginner run is cut off by a freaking terrain park. Instead of just going down, a beginner has to traverse a freaking road, which if you haven't figured out, gets much busier than a normal run. I guess maybe I'd forgive you if you actually had snow coverage at the base. If I can see the tops of freaking trees, then I know I'm at the wrong place. Either get rid of them or close the run. Oh, and yeah, you make it real easy to get to the West Buttermilk. You literally have to hike along the ridge, otherwise you'll get stuck on the wrong side of... Wait a minute. Another freaking terrain park. Aspen, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but somehow you haven't figured out that the beginner mountain should not also be the freaking terrain park mountain? I would say let's use some common sense here, but after seeing how Pitkin County drives, I really doubt there's much of that to go around. Chapman Hill. I've literally driven past you 20 times, and I didn't even know you were a thing until now. That's pretty much all you need to know. Ski Cooper. You built the Tennessee Basin expansion a few years ago. The lift built to serve the new terrain? A T-bar. Why a T-bar? Because you wouldn't have been able to afford cutting the runs if you built a chairlift. You're a small ski area. I get that. But please, stop lying about your terrain. I did a double black at Cooper before I did a single black anywhere else. Seriously, just be honest. Copper Mountain. 3 summers ago, you built 1.5 lifts. American Eagle did just fine. American Flyer didn't open until, get this, flippin' January. And after all that delay, you still had to come in the next summer and add more towers. The genius of the new Flyer is that it's a mind trick. The new Flyer is a 6-pack, giving it a higher theoretical capacity than the lift it replaced. But no, Copper said, screw that idea, and added bubbles and 90-degree loading. So while it may look like it should chew through lines faster, you might want to bring out the grill while you're waiting in those lines. I swear to you, it would be a modern miracle if Flyer spent less than 35% of the time stopped on a given day. There was once a lift called Union Creek. It was a great lift name. and then Copper renamed the lift. They renamed it Woodward Express. Now you might say, there's no problem with that. Except here's the thing. Woodward is a company that partners, and dare I say, sponsors Copper Mountain. I'm sorry, I thought this was a ski mountain, not a YouTube channel. Seriously, nobody cares about your sponsor. And now you just wasted away a great lift name too. Good job, Copper. 2 for 1. Craner Hill. You only open every once in a blue moon when conditions are right. You know what that says about you? You're too broke to buy even used snowmaking. Let's have a round of applause for the best ski resort in the middle of nowhere that never opens, please. Crested Butte. You know, everything was just fine and dandy, until Vail came along. Now you've got all the problems of any old Vail. Overcrowding is the big thing. A few years ago, you replaced Teocalli. With all of that Vail money, you would think that they could afford a nice new lift, but instead, you went with freaking off-brand. Vail, you go hand in hand with Doppelmayr. You've bought a lot of Pumas for Breck, yet you went with who again for Teo? Skytrack. No offense to Skytrack, but you would at least think a company such as Vail could afford name brand. Oh wait, when was the last time Vail actually cared about a new acquisition? Let me think. Never. Echo Mountain. You're awfully ambitious to try to be a private mountain for how small you are. Actually, no. I understand. Since you get literally like 6 inches of snowfall a year, you can't have too many people pushing all that precious snow down the hill. You also just have to be an upside-down resort, just for the sake of being difficult. Let me know when the land's for sale in 5 years. Eldora. One of your longest lifts, Alpenglow, takes literally 3 minutes to ride. Tell me you're a small mountain without actually telling me you're a small mountain. Why is it that you have more lifts than I can count in your beginner area? When was the last time a beginner actually came to your area? Actually, I take that back. You have plenty of beginners. They're just skiing your blacks, while they would be struggling on a green anywhere else. Also, if I had $1 for every time you've had to close due to wind, I'd probably be a million freaking air. Hesperus. All I have to say is, if the population who skis here is any bit as sketchy as the chairlift, you better have a bodyguard. Howelson. Well, if I actually knew anything about you, and anyone else in the state actually knew you existed, well then, I just might have been able to come up with a joke. Kendall. For having such big future plans, you're kind of a disappointment. I have no sweet clue how you're expecting to raise enough money to expand. Maybe if you got more than 10 people to ski at the area. Keystone. One of the biggest attractions at Keystone is their nice wide family run, Schoolmarm. There's one problem with Schoolmarm. Every freaking trail on the front side begins and/or ends on it. So while it's great for beginners, I'm sure us advanced skiers love playing bowling with all the beginners and families while trying to get to our run. And for the beginners, it's not about learning to ski, it's about learning to survive. Because good luck with thousands of snowboarders coming careening down any given moment now. And when they come, you know I'll be taking bets starting at 2 for casualty count. Lake City. Give me a minute, this is a really big number. Lake City has a whopping 14 acres of skiable area. I'm so sorry you had to listen to me saying such a large number. Lees. Sorry, I must have read that wrong. In my research for this, I thought I saw that Lees and the surrounding area call themselves the Little Switzerland of America. I'm sorry, but does that 75-foot vertical look like the Alps to you? Because when I was in the Alps, I recall them being actual mountains, not little foothills. Loveland. You finally got into the detachable game 3 years ago. Only a mere 3 3/4 decades after detachable technology became a thing. So while you've got a nice egress from the base, once I'm on the mountain, I still waste over half my time sitting on a slow fixed grip that could have just as easily been built detachable a decade ago. Or maybe you're just too broke. I guess that's why you stopped running Chair 5 too. Now, instead of taking a nice lift between valley and basin, I have to drag my butt on a dirty, crowded bus, take my skis off, and walk a little ways at the ends too. Thanks for that. I'm sure your bus drivers enjoyed getting COVID too. Monarch. You call yourself a local mountain, yet you're literally farther away from Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, Denver, Boulder, and all of the other northern cities than Eldora, Winter Park, Breckenridge, A-Basin, Loveland, Keystone, Echo, and probably like 10 others I'm forgetting. Maybe that's why you couldn't afford a new lift. Instead, you just got a nice new motor and terminal cover from a company literally no one had ever heard of. I guess you went with them because you just had to be unique, so that instead of 25, you now have 26 people who ski there. Powderhorn. You have a nice high-speed quad lift. You know how you managed to get a hold of that lift? Because after it got struck by freaking lightning, Marble Mountain didn't want it anymore. You got the unwanted, the leftovers from another resort. And that's the type of people you get too. So good luck drawing people out to the middle of freaking nowhere to get bored skiing the same 3 runs all day. No wonder you couldn't afford new. Purgatory. Maybe, instead of building a new, useless beginner expansion, seriously, nobody asked for Ice Creek, you could replace any of the ancient relics you like to call chairlifts. Engineer, Grizzly, and Twilight have all been due for upgrades for a mere few decades. I'm pretty sure the last time you ran Engineer, she stopped so hard she never started again. Sure, blame COVID for not running it, why not? That's what everyone else is doing. But I'm going to be one heck of an impressed person if you somehow get that thing rolling again. Instead, I have to ski back to the base and wait in line for your 6-pack that, let me remind you, also went down like 3 times this past year and is down as I am recording this. Maybe if your maintenance wasn't as bad as your snow coverage, you could actually compete with Telluride. Silverton. Even with a chairlift, to get to literally 95% of the area, I still have to hike. Great placement on the chairlift there, boys. Oh wait, you couldn't put the top anywhere else because you bought it used. I think your staff is heavily used in bad condition as well, just to match with your chairlift. Snowmass. My first experience here, I waited 30 minutes, just to get in line for the chairlift. I then waited another 20 minutes to get on the dang thing. I guess that's just the Aspen magic, huh? For all the acquisitions Alterra has made outside of Aspen, Snowmass is pretty neglected. Seriously, it would literally take one ride from anyone working at Alterra on the Elk Camp chairlift to realize it's time for a replacement. Your snow was great at the end of last season. If only you could get 100% open before the last month of the season, then you'd be a real good resort. Sol Vista. For being such a small area, you've got a heck of a lot of problems. The last time I skied there, it was raining. The brochure did say skiing. I just didn't realize that it was water skiing. For all the owners changing and this and that, you're still so far in the red you made the national debt apologize. And then there's the fact that nobody wants to go to a resort where someone died recently. And to be honest, I think that's all anyone needs to know before deciding against going there. Steamboat. I would love to make a joke about your terrain, but since like 30% is only ever open, I've got no material. I will say, the mess you're making out of your base area to add a 3rd gondola makes me think I'm in Europe. I do love that instead of replacing Thunderhead, your solution is just to put more traffic at the top of the mountain. I'm sure all the people who actually have the ability to ski that area will enjoy playing pinball with all of the beginners who ended up at the wrong place and are now struggling to get down. Sunlight. Earlier, I mentioned Hesperus' sketchy chairlift. Your Segundo puts that lift to shame. Maybe, instead of an expansion that might barely bring your total number of skiers up by 1, you should replace that dinosaur. Have you ever wondered why the people of Glenwood Springs waste an extra $200 in 3 hours to go to Aspen and wait in lines instead of going here? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because your one sign in the entire state happens to be a yard sign on a side street in a town nobody's ever heard of? The mess of a lift and trail system that is to be known as Telluride is up next. Seriously, what even happened on the town side of the resort? Did a giant puke up some spaghetti on a trail map or something? And riddle me this, why did Telluride build one of the shortest high-speed quads in America instead of replacing a lift that actually needed a high-speed quad? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer? Nobody has any freaking clue. And when you get down towards the bottom of Prospector and Gold Hill, good luck navigating. Because if you don't know where you're going, well, frankly, you're just a total loss. Hey, Telluride, there's this great new technology out. It's called freaking putting lifts next to each other, not across a freaking stream. Part of the genius of it is that it traps first-timers who saw that the lifts appeared together on the trail map. The beast then stalks them and pounces, trapping them on the wrong side of the stream and at the wrong lift. Vail. Do I even need to say anything here? I mean, seriously, it's Vail. Literally just Google Vail lift lines. No more needs to be said. Yet I will. Literally everything's a catwalk at Vail. Just look at this trail map. Do you see all these dashed lines? Catwalks. To get to any other freaking part of the mountain, you'll have to take a freaking catwalk. If you don't die from all the cross country at Vail, well, good luck surviving the next one. You're going to have one heck of a time getting down the mountain, getting in your car, and sitting there with literally everyone else. Just sitting. And sitting. And sitting. Because with that traffic, you'll probably want to book a hotel for your day trip. Winter Park. You used to be a great resort, and then Alterra came. Now I've got to wait in lines all freaking day. Olympia's the worst. And oh, what's that I see here? The Winter Park master plan? Let me look. You're not even going to replace Olympia? Let's not upgrade the busiest lift on the mountain, no. Some monkey is sitting in a tent somewhere going, Chandala. I like that word. Where can I put it? Ooh, how about Gemini? Does it look to you like Gemini needs a freaking upgrade? Because last I checked, I could, literally walk on the lift any time of day. By the way, my condolences to the entire freaking staff for when your horrible precautions led to hundreds getting COVID. Oh, and one last thing. Thanks for the cardio from the cross-country skiing on Whistle Stop. We all loved that. Wolf Creek. There's a high-speed quad called Charity Jane serving a pot of beginner and intermediate terrain. So why is it that there's no way to get to Charity Jane on a green? What's the point of having beginner terrain if beginners can't get to it? The chairlift next to Charity Jane, Alberta, just so happens to be the longest lift in the resort at a whopping 12-minute ride. So you built a beginner high-speed quad that beginners can't even freaking use instead of replacing the longest lift at the resort. That's just pure genius right there. And finally, we come to Breckenridge. Now yes, I know a lot of people love Breckenridge. However, us sane people can see all the bad things about Breckenridge. First and foremost, it's overcrowded. I'm starting to sense a theme. Wait, it couldn't be. A Vail resort? Imagine that, a Vail resort being overcrowded. The design and flow of the resort is horrible. Each peak itself might be quite nice, but when trying to get between peaks, good luck not getting run over by one of the thousands of snowboarders there. Wait a minute, I forgot something. If you want to avoid lines, there's always lifts that have no lines. You know why? Because they're freaking 1970s double chairs that run slower than molasses on a cold day. Take your pick. I'm not sure what's faster, to wait in line for 15 minutes or to sit on a slow chairlift for the same amount. You're adding a new chairlift right as we speak. That's great and all, but there's one problem. And that one problem is that adding that chairlift is about the equivalent of slapping a band-aid on a bullet wound. In fact, that might be more like trying to dig the bullet out with a knife. It might just make the problem worse. And don't even get me started on everything outside of skiing too. Why wait for food at a sit-down restaurant for 30 minutes in town when you can wait for 40 for a freaking food court on the mountain? Maybe if your staff tried as hard as your logo tries to be good, it might actually become faster to eat on mountain rather than trekking into town. Then there's the parking situation too. If you want to park in a lot that is not an overflow or an abandoned airport, which is seriously a thing, you better get your butt out of bed early and have an extra $20 to waste just to park in the last row premium and walk the same amount of time you could have taken the shuttle from the other lots anyway. But wait, there's more. Even if you're not going to ski, Breck, you too can still experience some of that Vail magic. All you have to do is drive through the actual town of Breckenridge. And by drive, I mean sit in traffic for 45 minutes while a never-ending stream of pedestrians ignores all laws in place to try to be the first on the Quicksilver at 8 in the morning. There's a lot more I could go over too. I think Breckenridge is the only resort capable of having a 5-minute long segment, but I'm pretty sure you got the point, so I will stop it there. Well, I hope that this video was helpful in exposing, critiquing the ski resorts of Colorado. Please leave any questions or suggestions down in the comments. All my love, I'm out.